I never imagined I would be the one to bring down Karen Matthews, the reigning queen of Whispering Pines, president of the HOA and self-appointed guardian of aesthetic purity. For 3 relentless years, she'd patrolled our streets like a suburban warden. Clipboard in hand, hair always sprayed into platinum precision, she measured lawns to the quarter inch and ticketed mailboxes if their shade wasn't the wholly sanctioned eggshell number 7. But even I couldn't have guessed just how far she would go or how hard she would fall. It began quietly. My sister, her husband, and their son came to stay during a home renovation. Temporarily, just a few weeks. My nephew Ethan is 11, smart as a whip, tougher than most adults I know, and he gets around in a wheelchair because of cerebral palsy. The day they moved in, I installed a lightweight aluminum ramp over the 2 steps to my front door. It wasn't bolted down, nothing permanent, just a simple, unobtrusive way for Ethan to come and go freely. The next morning, at precisely 7:30, the doorbell rang, and there she stood, Karen Matthews, her sunglasses perched like a crown, that clipboard clutched like a scepter. "Good morning," she said, all saccharine smile and invisible daggers. "I noticed an unauthorized structure on your property." Still blinking sleep from my eyes, I stared at her. "I'm sorry?" She pointed with a manicured finger. "The ramp. It's not on the approved list of entry modifications. Article 7, Section 12. You'll need to have it removed immediately." I took a breath, slow and steady. "Karen, my nephew uses a wheelchair. It's temporary, just a few weeks." She flipped her clipboard like it was a legal text. "There's been no accommodation request submitted. That requires Form 34B, architectural renderings, material samples, and a physician's note. The review committee meets on the first Tuesday of next month." My voice sharpened. "Ethan needs access now, not in 6 weeks. It's a reasonable accommodation under the ADA." Karen's eyes tightened. "Our bylaws predate that legislation," she said. "They supersede it here. You have 48 hours. And just like that, her heels clicked away, leaving silence and fury in her wake. That day I did my homework, researched, called professionals, pulled the applicable law and printed it all out. I dropped the documents in Karen's mailbox with a note. "The ramp stays, for my nephew's access, his dignity. Happy to discuss further if you'd prefer civility." The next evening, I came home to find another notice taped to my door. A $200 fine for unauthorized correspondence in a non-approved mailbox receptacle. She fined me for legal paperwork. I laughed at first, but it didn't last long. That Saturday, I was flipping pancakes when Ethan rolled into the kitchen, crying, tears streaming down his cheeks. "Uncle James," he whispered, "the ramp's gone. I can't get outside." I bolted to the front door. Everything seemed untouched, except the ramp. It was just gone. Outside, down the street, neighborhood kids smacked hockey pucks across the asphalt. Ethan had been looking forward to watching from the porch all week. I carried him out myself, placed him gently where he could see the game. Then I walked straight to Karen's house. Her white colonial loomed at the end of the cul-de-sac, like a throne room of control. I rang the bell until she opened the door, impeccable in a tennis outfit, though I've never once seen her play. "Where's the ramp?" I demanded. She folded her arms. "Removed, as outlined in Section 23, remediation rights over non-compliant. Exterior alterations. You were warned. That ramp is mine. You stole it." Her sigh was theatrical. "It's been disposed of. Continuing this hostility could result in further fines. Disruptive behavior protocol, Section 19, my fists clenched, pulse pounding. That ramp cost $800. It's essential medical equipment. You had no right." "I'm simply enforcing the standards this community agreed upon," Karen said, lips bending into a tight little smile. Your failure to follow the process isn't my problem. I pulled out my phone. Well, now I'm following the proper channels. Smile. The color drained from her smug face. What do you think you're doing? Documenting the person who violated federal law and stole from a child with a disability. I turned and walked away as her threats echoed behind me. I didn't go to the local precinct. I called an ADA attorney. He barely waited for me to finish my story before saying, "This is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Destruction of medical equipment. Federal disability violations, theft over $500. She's done. Monday morning, I took the day off work. At 9 sharp, two things happened. Karen received a certified legal notice outlining every law she broke. And I filed a police report for theft and destruction of medical assistance gear. By noon, the dominoes started to fall. 3 more families stepped forward, stories of rules enforced with a cruelly selective hand. Karen had fined one couple for a wheelchair ramp, another for an oxygen storage box, another for planting shade trees after a melanoma diagnosis. She tried to fight back that night, hosting an emergency HOA meeting. The crowd was standing room only. Usually it was just Karen and her 2 yes men rubber-stamping nonsense. She stood at the podium, cheeks flushed to nearly purple. "We have certain standards here," she said, glaring straight at me. "If we let in one unauthorized ramp, what's next? Neon paint? Broken down vans in every driveway?" I raised my hand, her jaw clenched. "Yes?" I stood. "I'd like to formally address the board regarding the theft and potential civil rights violations against my family." She scoffed. "That's absurd. We followed due procedure." I held up my phone. "Security footage shows you and your maintenance contractor removing a ramp at 6:15 a.m. Saturday. That was a bluff. But I didn't need to see Karen's face to